appeared in the Courier?
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Approximately.
It has to do with the Belden House down, on Belden Road, and I guess there were promises made at that time. If you want a few minutes to read this, but while you're looking at it, I'll read the question. I'll repeat the question if you like. More than 5 years have passed since DEP promised to restore their Belden House property. The house was 246 years old then, and it has significant historic value to Putnam and our hamlet. DEP has done nothing to honor their commitment to our community. As county executive, what would you do to make DEP become the good neighbors they once were? I'm not sure you have to read the whole article to answer that question.
Will you repeat that question?
Yeah, I will. More than 5 years have passed since DEP promised to restore their Belden House property. The house was 246 years old then, and it has significant historic value to Putnam and our hamlet. DEP has done nothing to honor their commitment to our community. As county executive, what would you do to make DEP become the good neighbors they once were?
I'm finished.
You want to ask that? Or do you want to do it?
I think the key to working with the DEP is establishing relationships with them. And I have had an opportunity as legislator for the last 5 years, and of course this year with Senator Ball, to talk to the DEP about several projects right here in the hamlet and of course countywide. We have an opportunity at the old, I'll call it the old Lloyd Lumber Dainandale site, to remediate that site, to make our bike path more attractive, to put a kiosk there, sort of to encourage the tourism. I speak with David Moore and the Commission monthly on the Kent Sewer Project, where the town of Kent is trying to amp up their business district. The DEP is our partner, whether we like it or not, and we have to build bridges. We have to be able to work to give and take to get the things that we want here. And maybe ultimately we can get the Belden House, and maybe the biggest dream of all is we can get Lake Oneida back, where we can have our fireworks and we can do our boating and we can enjoy that lake for ourselves like we used to when we were kids.
To answer the question directly, yes, I would like to sit down and start to negotiate with the DEP about their commitment to bring the money and or the renovations here. I'm sure if 5 years ago they said it was 2.9 million, it might be a little bit higher now, it might be a little bit lower, I don't know. But just I'd like to see New York City live up to the signed commitments. And yes, we have to work as a partner with them too. And that's why I'm surprised nobody has sat down with them over 5 years and to discuss this. It's time enough, and somebody should be discussing their commitment and seeing when it will start.
Well, can we have a question for one person? The format here is that each person gets to comment on the question posed by the audience. This question is for MaryEllen only. I haven't read the question, but I don't believe that that's consistent with our format. The question has to be directed towards both, so that both can comment on it. We're not. I don't believe this. I'm sorry, whoever submitted this. If you want to rephrase it somehow so both can answer the question, that's fine. But right now, the way it's proposed, I can't accept it under this format.
Who put this question forth here?
Okay.
Could you rephrase that for us, please?
The Putnam County seat in the hamlet of Carmel is framed by the Curry and Eyes-like setting of Lake Oneida and its shoreline. Since the watershed agreement that was reached with Putnam County and DEP, no maintenance of the property has been done by DEP thus creating the present overgrowth along US Route 6. At present, Water District revenue paid the DEP. At present, Water District revenue paid to the DEP exceeds tax collections from the DEP 2 to 1. Would you favor an exchange which would give the county ownership of Lake Lenida and DEP the county-owned parcel? That's an awful lot to digest. You want me to do that again?
I'm good.
Okay, you got it?
I think I got it.
Okay. Helen?
And that watershed agreement that was signed with the DEP several years ago, it said that the county is responsible for the lawn maintenance, and I believe it's to within 60 feet of the shoreline. New York City's stance is that they want it to be natural and to have a buffer between Route 6 and the shoreline. I don't fully agree with their thinking. I would like to sit down and negotiate with them to bring the lake back within the control of the residents of the town of Carmel, and I'd like to get the support of the town of Carmel on this as well. But for right now, my understanding is that the county is responsible for that little bit of lawn, and they're not allowed to touch anything else according to the watershed. Thank you.
Well, I think I just said it before. The obvious solution is to take ownership of the lake back. Obviously, they're not interested in the jewel of Carmel as we are. I go back to 15 years ago when we used to go on that shore ourselves with some prison inmates and keep it clean and maintained because the county just decided that it wasn't important to them. And I think oftentimes we would even say if this lake was in Mayapack, it would have been completely cut down and mowed and trimmed. But with that being said, I think that the effort here should be to negotiate with New York City to get this lake back into our hands and again use it as a hub for tourism for the hamlet, to tie in the bike paths, to tie in the walking trail. I think it would be a perfect fit for all of us, for boating, for hiking, for biking. I think it would be a very smart move for us to go in that direction.
We have another question coming up, I guess. Nobody else in the audience has questions. We did make up a list of questions that came from our board, and I'll ask one of these while we're so we've got a lot of these questions already. What is your MaryEllen, this will be for you.
Okay.
You started first. What is your management philosophy for dealing with the various department heads that will report to you as county executive?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have 20 departments right now. That's an awful lot of reporting. I think that that's where the opportunity right now to take a very old organizational business model that does not fit today's needs, doesn't fit our economic needs, it certainly doesn't fit our efficiency needs. So I have proposed streamlining a lot of those departments, consolidating, not laying off employees, just more or less consolidating responsibilities. And I do believe within those functions, we can eliminate some repetitiveness and redundancy.
As I said before, I'm going to try and answer this question directly, is that as far as management goes, irregardless of the amount of departments that there are, I would have to listen to my managers and commissioners and get their input before making the final decision. Any good executive wants good input and would only keep the best possible managers, irregardless of the amount, and listen to them and see what exactly is going on in each one of their functions, and then make the final decision for themselves. Thank you.
need not only a timer, I need a traffic cop.
I got that.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you know
I'm getting the
that?
hang of it now,
Okay.
sorry.
Did you know that the watershed agreement is due to expire? How would you negotiate a new agreement that more benefits the hamlet of Carmel and the county?
Well, first, let's just take the hamlet of Carmel. Lake Oneida seems to be a sore point. And I remember years ago when we had an anniversary parade and the fireworks over the lake. And it was spectacular. There were over 20,000 people here that night. That's 1/5 our population. And I'd like to see it again as the focal point. So I would start to sit down and renegotiate with New York City's departments in order that we can get control back of the lake. Remember, it is part of their watershed, okay? And the state legislature, decades and decades ago, said that they have control over it. So we're going to have to sit down and negotiate with them. And hopefully we can get it back to the way it was. Thank you.
You know what was left out of the negotiations that was very important was the MS4, the stormwater management. The MS4 program is probably one of the most onerous responsibilities that New York City has put on us as taxpayers. They have left us with requirements that are completely unfunded for their clean water. If we are to negotiate anything, top priority is to make sure that all of these MS4 requirements, all of the responsibilities that our municipalities and our counties and our schools have to now undertake, which are going to cost millions of dollars, that they are going to be willing to be responsible for their portion of paying for those costs, because we can't afford to do it. We cannot afford to make sure that New York City has clean drinking water, because it is, again, like I said, it's one of the top economic burdens on us right now in this county.